Hey everyone, it's Mary. I'm back for another flash class. I'm gonna see if I can zoom in after the fact. Nope, can't zoom in after the fact. So I'm a couple of minutes late because the sun decided to come out and it's shining across my table and it is throwing horrible lights and shadows all over everything. So if this is appearing dark to you, please let me know and I'll try to drag another light over here. I had to move my whole setup and now I don't know what it looks like. So if you can post a comment letting me know if I'm in complete darkness here, I would really appreciate it. Because I had to move everything. So I'm all messed up now. Hopefully it's not too dark for you to be able to see. So welcome to my flash class. So this is kind of like a flash mob, but it's flashcards. I've been inspired lately. If you tuned in yesterday, I've been really inspired lately by Kylie Bertucci and her movement towards Love It, Chop It. And it's all in regards to designer series paper. And if you love it so much that you've hoarded it, it's now time to chop it and get it on some cards and send it out. And I see everybody's popping on and sharing and telling me I'm not too dark. Yay, we're golden. Okay, so we're gonna keep going. So I popped on yesterday and did a flash class. And I was using the Painted Autumn designer series papers and had done a whole series of note cards following Kylie's Love It, Chop It recipe, so to speak. These are all upside down. And I ended up thinking that I could bring these to our demonstrator on stage event as my first time attending on stage. I decided I wanted to participate in swaps. Well, when I went to create the recipe for the cards, I realized it was retired paper. So and we're only supposed to use current products. So can you imagine? I would have been thrown out of my first convention. Wouldn't that have been horrible? So I had to start over. So what I came up with, and of course now the dogs are gonna bark, and they've been neglected all week, so they're very unhappy. What I ended up coming up with were some cards using the Coffee Break designer series paper and the coordinating stamp set. And I'm also on a push to not only use the designer series paper that I've been hoarding for years and years and years, but also to use stamp sets that I haven't touched. So I've had this stamp set since it came out because I'm a coffee addict. If you see my hands, they're always shaking, and it's probably because I'm over caffeinated. But I think I used it once and then it went back on the shelf because, as you know, everything, you get a new occasions catalog and then that's the new obsession, or you get a new holiday catalog and that's the new obsession, or then you have celebration and that's the new obsession. And then your oldies and goodies get pushed to the back corner, and then before you know it, they're retired. And as demonstrators, we don't usually promote the retired products, so then they really don't get shown any love. So I'm on this push to start using stamp sets and designer series paper that I've stashed away, and if I bought it, it means I loved it. So I gotta show it that I love it and use it, right? So I came up with the cards for my swaps, and then I was thinking, okay, well, how could I take these up a step further to use in maybe a more advanced class or on my blog posts or for one of my online classes? And that's how these cards were born, and I just came up with these this morning, which is why I decided to come on and do a flash class, because I figured, you know what? I'm excited about it today, so why not do a class about it today? Because probably next week I'll be excited about something else, and then these will get pushed to the side and I still won't do a class on it. So I may as well do it now while I'm really excited about it. And they use the same Love It, Chop It recipe slash formula that I used in my other classes. I just mixed it up a little bit. So we're going to play with these today. The other thing that's happening today that's very exciting is today is the final day of celebration. So get those orders in, use that hostess code. If you tuned in yesterday, you know that I'm giving away my card kits that I prepared yesterday that use that retired Painted Autumn Designer Series paper. So everyone that places an order in my online store through today, the last of Celebration, and uses my exclusive Celebration Live at 5 hostess code, they're going to receive 6 card kits. So there'll be 6 pieces of this Designer Series paper, 1 of each pattern, and 6 pre-cut card bases in the coordinating papers. And those are going to be mailed to everybody that places the order using the code, no matter how much the order is. So if your order is only $25 and you don't qualify for Celebration rewards, you're still going to get my card kit as long as you use that hostess code. Today's also the last day to join my team. And I'm really, really excited about this because I've actually gained some new team members during this celebration event. And it's opening up a whole new world to me. I'm researching how to better support my team, and I'm coming up with some ideas, and I'm really excited about them. And I'm going to start implementing those when I get back from the on-stage event next week. So I'm coming up with some team member only tutorials and card swaps and all sorts of things. So I'm really excited about that. So if you have been thinking about joining Stampin' Up, now is really the time to do it. They still have through today, they have their offer where you can select $125 of any product that you want from any current catalog or the clearance rack, pay only $99 for it, and you get 2 free stamp sets of your choice from any current catalog up to $101 value combined. So you could get any 2 $50 stamp sets for absolutely free. And that would bring your product total to what, $225 for 99? I mean, that's a no-brainer. That's such a no-brainer. I wish I could quit and sign back up again. But they don't allow that. Not now. I'd have to wait. So I'm not going to quit. I'm staying with it. But anyways, now is the best time to join. So if you have any further questions, or you're afraid that you're going to have to commit to something, or you need to talk about it, I'm here. You can email me. You can Facebook message me here. You can call me, text me, whatever you want to do, and I'm happy to put your fears at ease. And I have the link posted all over my Facebook page here and all over my blog, but I'll add it again to this video once we are done with class. So what else is happening in Stampin' World? Okay, so I think I covered most of it. So let's get stamping, because that's what we're all here for, right? Let's make some cards. And I'm going to apologize for any bumping or searching I end up having to do, because, as I said, I had to completely move my setup. And now I'm confused as to where I put everything. So again, this all came about because of Kylie Bertucci's Love It, Chop It movement. And I am so grateful for her sharing this with me and including me in her group, because it really has altered my mindset, and it's gotten me stamping. I spent 14 hours in my room yesterday, in my craft room. 14 hours. And I've been up here, it's now noon my time. I have been up here since 7 o'clock this morning. And I've been stamping and cutting paper. And I have swaps ready. I'm so excited by that. And if you haven't done it, chop your paper. It's really going to change everything. And you'll be so glad you did it. So this is the Coffee Break Designer Series paper, and it's meant to coordinate with the Coffee Cafe stamp set and the Coffee Cups Framelits dies. All of these are available in the annual catalog. I checked, they're not retired. And they're also available to be included in your starter kit if you don't have them already. So, as someone pointed out to me the other day, I had shown in class that on the back of our packs of designer series paper, it lists all the coordinating cardstock colors that are included throughout the patterns in the paper pack. And somebody actually wrote me and said, thank you so much for sharing that because I had no idea. And I went, oh, really? Huh. So sometimes the things that we take for granted, someone else finds completely new and enlightening. So I thought that was really cool. So so Brina's asking, what is the little coffee cup framelit supposed to cut out? It actually coordinates with, and let me dig it out here. Let me dig it out. Let me get it out of its little sleeve. So this little coffee cup cuts out the little coffee cup in the DSP. So isn't that cool? And it can also probably cut out this little coffee cup. So you don't have to fussy cut. Whoops, I just kicked it. You don't have to fussy cut. I mean, you can fussy cut your DSP, but these little cups you can cut out with the little framelit. Isn't that adorable? So cute. Okay, so I'm going to make this card today because out of all three of these, it's my favorite. And I also came up with something I thought was just genius. So we're gonna make this cup right here. So I need the designer series paper that has this blue chevron. And I need the early espresso with the white coffee pots and coffee cups. So I need those. So now I gotta find a place to put the rest of this paper. Did you take my craft room tour the other day when I showed you what a disaster this room was? I was horrified. I was so horrified I had to shock myself into starting to clean it by showing everybody. Okay, so now I need a trimmer, which of course is over on the old table. All right, so if you watched my Love It, Chop It card class yesterday, when cutting my paper, I cut it all into 4x5¼ inch card fronts. That way they're ready to go on a card at any moment, or they're ready to be cut up into smaller pieces to be patterned together on a card front. But at least this way, if I already have them cut to 4x5¼ they're already card front size. So if I need a card to go, I just have to slap it on a card front and add some embellishment or some stamping, and I'm done, and I can just keep moving. So the first thing I want to do is look at my paper and determine how I want the pattern to go on the card. And if you look at this card, I have my chevrons going up and down, not this way. Down the front of the card. So I'm going to make my first cut. How am I doing this? I'm making my first cut this way at 5¼ and I'm hoping you are fully in the screen here. Can you guys see? So I'm making this cut at 5¼ all right, and then I'm going to move it over and do it 5¼ again. So this is all repeat if you watched my class yesterday, but it begs repeating. And then I have an extra strip here. Now, don't throw this strip away because this strip would make wonderful banners, belly bands, flags going across your card. Don't throw that away, use that. Next, I'm going to take my piece that's now 12 inches by 5¼ and I'm going to cut it into 3 4-inch pieces. All right. And then I'm going to end up with 6 card fronts. So now I already have the materials ready for 6 cards. And look at how fast that was. Then I'm going to take my other paper. I need my other pattern here because we're using both today. And I'm going to do the same thing. So I've got 5 1/4, 5 1/4. I've got my strip for later. I'm going to rotate. I don't dare cut these at the same time. And you might be asking, can you just cut 4" by 12" strips and then cut the 4 by 12s into 2 5 1/4s? Well, you can, but I think you get more flexibility from your cuts if you're left with this big, long 12" strip than a bunch of smaller, narrower strips. So that's why I've done it this way. I'm also trying to get back into scrapbooking, so those 12" strips I can always put aside for a scrapbook page. And if you're a scrapbooker and a card maker, you could use these pieces that are already pre-cut to card front size on a scrapbook layout and either use it for journaling mats or use it just for, you know, random decoration on your page, or use it for photo mats, but it's already at least pre-cut. So you already have your supplies ready. Okay, so that's our cutting. Now I'm going to make this card, so I've already cut a coordinating soft sky card base, 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. I know soft sky is going to coordinate because it's in the recipe that came with my paper pack. So I don't have to worry about whether or not it's going to coordinate because I know it's going to. I also have a piece of Whisper White cardstock cut to 4 by 5 1/4. That's going to be for the inside of my card. Okay. Then I have a piece of Whisper White. This is just 1/8 inch larger than my photo mat. Okay. Because I want to have a nice little white border going around my DSP when I put it on the front of the card. I could omit it and just put the designer series paper on the front of the card, but I think it looked much better with that extra layer of white. Okay, so, oh, Debbie says that she's definitely going to stamp tomorrow afternoon because now she's excited. Well, that's what this is all about. I'm telling you, I watched Kylie's tutorial on this Love It, Chop It, and I can't stop stamping. And I have things I'm supposed to be doing, and I can't get out of my room. It's amazing. I just can't do it. I'm supposed to be getting my camper ready to go to on stage next week, and I can't get out of my room, and my camper's 45 minutes away. I'm supposed to be driving there and cleaning it. But would you rather clean a camper or would you rather stamp? My husband's not helping because he's saying, well, we'll get to it when I get back. He's out of town through Tuesday. He says, well, we'll do it when I get back. I said, we can't wait for you to get back. This camper needs to be cleaned. But I don't want to go clean a camper. I want to stamp. Okay, so this is the panel that we're going to mount. I got chatting. This is the panel that we're going to put underneath our designer series paper. But I'm going to stamp on it, and I'm going to do some cheating. And it's only cheating because I know about it. Nobody else is going to know about it. Well, I'm sharing it with you, but don't tell anybody. You don't have to tell anybody. You can keep it to yourself, right? You can keep a stamping secret. All right, so I've stamped my coffee cup. And now I'm going to stamp my little beans. These are the cutest little things. And there's a die for those. And what else do I need? I don't need anything else in early espresso, so I'm going to put that away before I create a crisis. And then I need my pear pizzazz. And I also know pear pizzazz and early espresso are going to coordinate with my cards because it's in the recipe on the back of the package. All right, so then I need my sentiment, and this is Life Happens, Coffee Helps. This is so cute. Okay, so we've got that. And then somewhere around here, I have my little teeny hat. He's so little teeny tiny heart. And this is going to be for, I don't know what do they call these things? Steam plugs or something? I'm sorry. When I used to go to coffee shops, they didn't have I don't know what that is. I have no idea what it is. Is it from Starbucks? Maybe you have to be a Starbucks fan to know what that is. So if you know what it is, let me know so I can stop wondering what it is. Okay, so that's all our stamping, I believe. Do a double check. I've got my little plug guy here stamped. I have my Life Happens Coffee Help stamped, my mug, and my beans. Okay, so now we need to do some big shot work. And hopefully I fit under here in this new environment that I had to set up. All right, I think I'm in there. So we have our big shot. And then I'm going to use my magnetic platform. And I think I have to switch plates. This one got bowed. I think I have to retire Mr. Cracks. If you've been watching my videos, you remember Mr. Cracks. He got cracked in half and I taped him back together, but the tape is starting to interfere with cutting and my dies are getting stuck in all of the etching that's in the plate. So I'm afraid it might be time for Mr. Cracks to retire. All right, so I got to point out my total genius moment that I had. So if you look at my other cards, I had used these doilies on my swap cards because I thought the coffee cup needed something to sit on. Okay, so I thought the coffee cup needed something to sit on. So I used the doilies, and that was for my swap cards. But then when I was doing this technique with putting the band of DSP in a contrasting pattern on the other side, I wanted to add ribbon to cover the seam, but I couldn't do the ribbon and do the doily because it didn't look right. Just trust me, it didn't look right. It looked awful. So I figured I still need something for my coffee cup to sit on, right? So I made it a little plate using my stitched oval. So is that genius? You got to tell me this is genius. Please tell me that this is genius. Because look, it's a little coaster or a little plate. Isn't it cute? I'm a genius. Maybe you've seen it done before. Maybe it's not even new. Maybe I didn't even come up with it. I don't know. I thought it was awesome. So I need to cut one of these. And it looks like I did not leave room for my coffee cup lid. So we're going to have to cut that out of a different piece of paper. But hey, at least we're getting this much done out of here. All right, so this looks like it's going to fight me and needs washi tape. I think I got too much going on this plate. So I've got some old washi tape here. Ugh, if I can get it started. All right, so I'm just gonna line this guy up and I'll just tape him down. All right, so now we're gonna cut, oh, my beans. I gotta cut my beans. I don't wanna forget the beans. So these are gonna have to go through a second time because I used two stacks of beans on this card to balance it out. The other cards only got one stack of beans. All right, so we're gonna cut this out and pop all of these guys out of here. So there's the cup, and there's my coaster, my little beans, my greeting, and then we just need this little guy. All right, and I think somebody said, someone just wrote, and I thought I saw it flash by the screen, that that's a little, not necessarily a little steamed thing, but it's for putting back in when you're sipping. I don't know. So do I have it placed wrong? Is it not supposed to be centered on the cup? I don't know. I'm old, but I'm not that old. I guess I just haven't been into a coffee shop recently. Okay, so now I need to cut my second layer of beans, my second little beans here. Keep turning this around until I figure out where it's supposed to go. This is the one set where you don't get the little tabs so that you know how to line up the die. All right, so we have that, and then I need a scrap. I gotta move over, hold on. I try to never leave in the middle of a video, but I didn't leave room. All right, so look at all these other mats I have from doing my swaps. All right, so I'm gonna cut a coffee lid. Now this wants to fight me. Ugh. I'm gonna cut a coffee lid from this other piece. And then all the boring big shot work will be done. All right. And whoops, sorry about that. Hopefully I don't drop this thing on my foot because I've got bare feet. I'm stamping barefoot. All right. Oh, get this out of here. All right, put that on the floor where I can trip over it later. All right, so here is the piece that we're gonna put on for our card base. And then I was gonna use my silicone mat for this next step, but it may be too full of goop. All right, I need some glue. Where did I put my glue? I need my glue. Hold on, it's at my other station. No, it's not. I'm telling you, I moved my other station over here. And I'm all messed up now. All right, so I need my glue. So let's do some assembling. So we're gonna do our card. So the first thing I'm going to do is do some more cutting. Best laid plans and all that. All right, so when I cut this originally, I cut off an inch from the side. I felt that an inch was enough. So I cut 1 inch off the side of the paper. So I'm just gonna bring in my cardstock. Can you guys see that? All right, and I'm gonna cut off an inch, okay? And then I'm going to take this blue piece and I'm going to cut an inch off of that, and that will go with that one. And then I can just combine and cut other pieces from the card pad, from the Designer Series paper stack, and everything's gonna coordinate. So now I have all my little pieces, and I'm going to take my Designer Series paper, and I should just use Fast Fuse because I think this glue's almost empty. If I can't get it to come out, I'm gonna have to switch adhesives. I think in the last couple of days, since doing this whole love it, chop it thing, I've gone through a whole bottle of glue. All right, so I'm gonna put this down to leave my border. And then I'm going to put this other one down on the other side. And just in case any cuts were off and not, you know, exactly the same, I can overlap this piece slightly if I need to, because I'm going to cover it with the ribbon anyway. But the most important thing is to get that border of the Whisper White pretty much the same. You know, so it looks pretty even. And that's not too bad. I'm a little off over here, but I think once it gets on this card front, no one's going to notice. And then I want my ribbon next because it's going to help me balance out where I'm going to put my coffee cup. So I've got this white ribbon. And if you're making these cards and you're using some of the different patterns, this is that really fabulous cotton ribbon. I think it's like a nice cotton. And it comes in Soft Sky. It comes in Crumb Cake. And then it comes also in the white. So it all looks beautiful with these patterns. So if you're placing that last celebration order or joining my team, you could pick get all of this paper and the stamp set and dies and some ribbon and have a whole series of cards prepared for yourself with your order. That was a shameless plug. Did you like that? I snuck that in there. All right, so I need to make sure that I leave enough ribbon to do my knot. And this is a little tacky still from some glue ooze, so I got to be really careful where I lay this down. All right. And I'm just going to I just want to do a knot. And I have to actually turn it around because that's the way I wrap. All right, so I'm just going to tie a knot. And I'm only doing a simple knot because I think a bow would just overpower the card. It would be way too much. All right, so we're going to fold this through. And then I can never get my knots and bows to work when I have an audience. All right. So then I'm going to get my snips, and my bow, my knot has decided that it wants to face the opposite direction. So you know what? You just take it off, flip it around, bend the little card, and put it back on. No one's going to know you did that either. Okay. A glue dot's going to hold that down. But for now, I want to get this on the card base because I've got a little bit of ooze on the back from putting the glue on. So I have dimensionals. I have my very last sheet of dimensionals. I'm running out of dimensionals too. But somebody on my class the other day, when I was crying over the fact that I was running out of dimensionals and my order's not coming until probably while I'm away on stage, they said, "Oh, but Mary, didn't you get the March paper pumpkin kit with all of those beautiful dimensionals in it?" And I went, "Oh my gosh, you just saved me because I do." And I've already started using it for my swaps. But they saved me because if I hadn't been reminded I had all those dimensionals from my paper pumpkin kit, I wouldn't be doing swaps because I would be out of dimensionals. And that's not something I ever want to experience. Can you imagine the horrors of running out of dimensionals? Oh my gosh, it would end crafting. I wouldn't be able to craft without my dimensionals. I'm addicted. Yes, Brina, thank you. It was you. You reminded me. And if you hadn't, I wouldn't be bringing swaps to my first on-stage event. This is the first on stage I've been able to attend because we have to travel with our dogs, which means we have to take the camper. And it's a 40-foot fifth wheel. And I don't tow it. There's no way I would ever, ever, ever drive and tow that thing. So my husband needs to be able to go with me, but he travels and he's gone 2 weeks a month. So he's never here. And so far, all of our Stampin' Up! Events have been while he was going to be out of town for work. But this time, I nailed him down, and I'm going. So we're gonna pull the camper to Atlanta, and I get to go to on stage. I'm so excited. Okay, so now I have that done, and we just have to do our assembly. So I'm gonna put down, first I'm gonna figure out where I wanna put my cup. So I'm gonna put that down on the card front first. And I just eyeball it, and it's really dependent mostly upon the designer series paper and what's happening in it. I'm kind of picky that way. All right, so then we're just gonna assemble our coffee cup. My glue got stopped up. Somebody left me a tip, and I'm sorry, I'm still figuring out, you know, who said what when. Someone gave me a tip about leaving your glue upside, you know, tip down in a spare cup with a damp paper towel at the bottom. And it prevents the glue while you're using it from oozing out all over the place, but it doesn't dry out in between uses. So I thought that was a really cool tip. So I'm sharing it with you. All right, so now I need more dimensionals. And I need 3 on my coffee cup. I don't like where I put that one. Ooh, but it's ripping the paper, so it's staying. And these paper pumpkin ones, I think they're just a little bit thicker than the ones from the annual catalog, but that's fine. So we're gonna put this down on its coaster or its little plate. So there's that. Now I need a narrow strip to go on the edge there of my cup. And I had my little snips. Oh, there they are. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna come along the edge here of these dimensionals and snip off like a little tiny strip. Because I only need to go across the top of the cup. So I only need to come up to the top edge here because I want this, the bottom of the cup lid, the lid to overlap the cup. Okay, so there's that. And now I have my little teeny tiny little steam guy. And I'll just probably, oh, you know what I used for that? I took my mini dimensionals and I just cut a little narrow strip from the edge, because if you look at the edge along the outside of the mini dimensionals, they leave you a big amount here. So I can just chop up little tiny bits. And this is so little, it just needs a little teeny tiny dimensional. See? So then I can tuck that under the cup. And I just butt it right up against the dimensional that's under the lid. So there's that. And then I need to do my little beans. So I'm gonna use the mini dimensionals for my beans. So I need 2 of those. And these little tiny mini dimensionals fit perfectly in the middle of the beans. And then I'll put my beans on the plate next to the cup. Oops. Helps if you use the end that has stickum on it and not a backing. And now I've got my beans there with my little coffee cup. And I'll probably put a glue dot under this ribbon because it's kind of loose. So now all we have to do is stamp the inside of the card. And if I had an envelope handy and didn't have to turn around and go get it, I would do an envelope too. But I'm going to get my early espresso and my little beans. And because I don't know what I'm going to say on this card or who I'm going to send it to. And I'm rotating my beans as I stamp. I'm going to leave the inside without a greeting because I don't know if it's going to be, it could be anything. It could just be a note card for somebody who's feeling down or has had a rough day. So I want to leave the inside blank. But I think the row of little coffee beans at the bottom is really going to dress it up. And then, may as well put the lid back on that. The way that I always do the inside of my cards is I just take some fast fuse or snail and I run one strip along the top. And then I put it on the inside of my card. And the reason I do that is because I think it looks nice. Oh boy. Well, guess what? We're going to have a random bean. Because I had ink on my finger or on my block. Nope, came from the block. Look at the block. Shame on you, Mary. Didn't check. So we're just going to have some random beans. Jumping beans. I'll put some more up there. And I did it again. I'm going to be here all day fixing mistakes. Can you believe it? Oh my gosh. Okay. That's enough. Because if I do any more, I'm going to make even more mistakes. Ah! All right. So now I have my beans on the inside of my card. And I'll probably do, you know, some more to fill that in. But there's the card. So I did a much better job on this one. There were no mistakes. So there's our cards. All done, quick and easy. And I still have all of my cut up designer series paper so I can make some more cards. So probably I will go back to making some more swaps after all of this because I've got all this cardstock, designer series paper cut up. So there are our cards and I hope you enjoyed my flash class. Don't forget, if you want to get the free card kit that I presented yesterday, pop on over to my online store, place your order of any size using the hostess code, and you will receive my card kits so that you can make your own Love It, Chop It, Painted Autumn note cards. Or if you're interested in taking advantage of the new demonstrator promotion, you can pop on over and join my team and you'll receive free cards and the free card kits from me as my welcome package, part of my welcome package. And if you have any further questions, don't hesitate to give me a shout. You can reach me by text, call, Facebook Messenger, Messenger here on my page, Messenger on my personal page. I'm wired up. So thank you for joining me. I appreciate your stopping in. And I hope that you will carry forward and do some of the Love It, Chop It cards yourself. Get into that designer series paper and cut it up. And if you care to, post a picture and let me see what you did. Let me see what I inspired you to do, like Kylie has inspired me. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend. If you're celebrating Easter tomorrow, happy Easter. And I guess it's time for me to go clean a camper. So I will talk to you guys later. And again, if you have any questions about anything that I've talked about today, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I always try to get back to everybody, and I'm pretty prompt. So unless I'm driving, I usually get back to you right away. So have a great weekend, you guys, and I will see you next week. Happy stamping. Bye.